Hi guys, welcome to Mega 5 Star. So I'm just getting out the shower, so I said while I do my hair and everything, prep my hair, whatever I do with it after I wash it, I'm going to talk about Bobby Brown's biography and his new show, Every Little Step. So, and I'm going to rate it. Overall, I rate it Mega 5 Stars for sure. In his biography, he opened up about deep situations, personal situations. Some of it you never even heard, you might have never heard about. And he really went into deep details about everything in his life. He started off talking about when he was a child and his mom got into trouble. And so they had to place him in a child's home for children until their mom able to get him back. And he went to a program where a priest was over it, and the priest tried to molest him. No, the priest didn't penetrate or anything like that, but he tried to. And Bobby said he fought back and everything, and then he ran away from the program. And so he said since then, he seemed to have problems with authority. So that's what he got into. He talked about that. He he got deep into that. Well, not real deep, but he, just basically said what I said. And then he started off talking about his career, the problems he was having with the group New Edition. They felt like, and then some of the members of New Edition talked, Ronnie being one of them. And it was talking about, Bobby trying to take over their shows and everything. He wanted to stand out more. So they talked about how they all got together. People was telling them that if they don't vote Bobby out of the group, then he would mess up their careers. Because I guess the spotlight would be more on Bobby than any of them. And so anyway, they saw how Bobby was. They got into that fight. I know everybody knew about that fight that they had on stage when they felt like Bobby was taking up more time doing his part of what they were supposed to do. And, they got in a big argument about that on stage during the show. And so it was just chaos. And so they finally voted, they voted Bobby out. And so Bobby just went on and went on with his career. And then he started to blow up big because he started making his own music and everything. So, yeah, guys, I don't part and moisture my scalp. I just go like this. I don't have time. So, yeah, he talked about that, and he, talked about all the situations that he was going through. And then on top of that, he started, dipping and dabbing in drugs and alcohol. And so he was like, being around that particular, being around that particular environment, like the music industry, he was saying it's a lot of drugs. And, we've all heard about that. It's a lot of drugs that you can have easy access to and things like that. And so he was going through that. And then on top of that, dipping and dabbing in drugs. So he talked about that. And then he started to open up about his relationships. So they went into him and Whitney, he talked about how they got together. He relived everything in his life during his biography. He talked about everything and he didn't hold back on anything. And so he talked about how they got together and, how everybody was saying that he would be bad for her. But, for me, growing up, being born in New Jersey and growing up in Newark, New Jersey, I never did look at Whitney as such an innocent person. You could just see that she wasn't, coming up from where we know the different traits and we know how people act when they want to put on this persona that they're such a good person. And they just do it for business purposes. Like, we know how to turn it on and turn it off. You know, as far as like being, as far as like being professional and then hanging out with our friends, being real. And so that's what I've always seen. No, Jay Sean, don't do that. Stop. For those who don't know, I'm sorry to those that do, but you know I have to say it because you get some ignorant people. My son is autistic, so he might be making noise, coming in, trying to get in and out. But you know, first of all, this is why I'm doing it this way, because this gives me more peace that I'm not in the same room with him and everything, because he will be loud and I'm not just out of control. So anyway, back to this. So, I've always, like, you can know different things coming up from where I grew up from and everything in New Jersey. You just know how different ways people act and everything. So I've always seen that she was drinking and she might have was dipping and dabbing a little bit something. Plus the streets talk. And while we don't put New Jersey people are so loyal. I have to give it up to my people. We are so loyal. We don't go out and talk about what people are doing. We don't blast it. We don't try to go get money for it and bring it up in tabloids and social media and all. We don't do stuff like that. It's just not who we are. But when we were looking, well, a lot of us was looking at her and stuff, we seen different traits about her that, yeah, was like a little wild, on the wild side. Yes, streets talk. And, yes, she was, more than likely, just doing a lot of things that people didn't know that she was doing. But you can tell by different ways people act. When we saw her on TV, from the streets talking, the way she looked. We knew when she was high, when she was drinking. We knew all types of stuff like that. I mean, it was just obvious. But I never looked at her as this real, like, even though her family's spiritual and stuff, I looked at her as spiritual, yes. But I didn't look at her as such this big, great girl that Bobby is about to mess up. No. I looked at her like, knowing the streets. She's for the mess. She will get in somebody's face if she need to. She's not going to hold back, because that's not how we do. And I mean, people from, where I'm from. And she's not going to hold back. She's going to speak her opinion, and that's it. And that's how I saw her. I never saw her the way the media and television portrayed her. But that's because where I'm from, you can spot different things. So with that being said, no, I never thought that Bobby was going to make her this bad person, and what is she doing with Bobby and this and that. No. That the way Bobby was, to be honest with you, excited her. That excited her and made her even want him even more, to be honest with you. Because Bobby was this on the rough side, no care in the world, free spirit, and, just fun, outgoing and fun. And I could see how she became attracted to him. I could see where that attraction came from. Now, he gets into the drug use. And then he goes into, yes, everybody was saying Bobby is the one that gave her drugs and stuff. The streets talk. No, we knew that. I knew that was false. So, but Bobby, being as humble as he is, he never, such a sweetheart, because he never called nobody out. He knew who introduced her to drugs. He knew what type of environment she was in, but he never called her out. He never called her out. And, that says a lot for him. Like, he was really loyal. And so anyway, they, started hanging out, being together and everything like that. And he was talking about how they would just use drugs on the weekend and then take care of their things during the week. He was like, so that's how it started off before. They would take care of their family, do what they need to do business-wise and everything like that during the week. But on the weekend, they would dip and dab in drugs and alcohol or whatever. So he said, after a while, it just got out of control. He was like, it just went out of control. And they started doing it from the weekend to now every day. And then they started messing up in their business, as far as business wise, like slacking in their business, because they started using every day, staying at home. And, you know, they both talked about this. Whitney talked about this. So it's not a surprise. So I'm only saying the things that these two have said in the past. So it wasn't a surprise or whatever, but they started using this stuff. And then he said pretty soon, you know, it just got out of control. So he said when he got locked up, he was like, you know, he got sober. He got his life, you know, it was a blessing for him because he got his life together. You know, he started to think about his life more and everything like that. So he got off drugs. So he said, and then from then on, when he got off drugs, he never went back. But the day, everybody knew about that day, that because it was all over the news, that she went and got him from jail when he got out after doing that time he served in prison. When she showed up and everything, everybody was talking about that. But I knew then it wasn't a surprise. I knew then she was high. When they showed her on the news, I was like, oh God, you know. But he said when they got in the car, of course, they had drugs in the car or whatever, but he didn't do any. He said he was like thinking like he wanted to get her off of him. You know, he wanted her to stop using and stuff like that. But you can't, like I said, from where we from, you can't tell us what to do. It's very rare you want to tell a person from New Jersey what to do. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. They don't care how you feel. It's not going to happen. They're going to live out. Guys, my hair sheds a lot. It's just in my jeans. So if you see me taking hair out the comb, yeah, it's in my jeans. My hair sheds a lot. But anyway, yeah, so stop. Stop, Jay Sean. Stop it. Okay, that's it. I'm going to throw this stuff. Stop. I'm throwing this stuff. Don't do that. Stop. Stop. So one thing I do to control him, he hates when I go in his room and take out all his little wigglies and stuff, because he likes to keep active and stimulate. So he takes his these little toys and these little things that he gather around the house. It could be a rubber band or whatever. He wiggle them and shake them all day. So weird, but now his favorite thing is the thing when we go to the doctors and we put they gotta give us a shot and they have to put that rubber thing around our arm. Weird. He loves those things to shake and wiggle around. So every time we go to the doctors, they give him one. So he have like so many of them, different colors in the house. And I'm like, when people come in here and see those things, they're gonna think I'm a drug user or something. But no, he just takes them and wiggle them. So he hates when I take them out his drawer and throw them down. And just throw them anywhere. I just throw them on the bed, throw them down. He hates that. So that's what gets him to stop banging and yelling. I've learned in the past that you have to find a way to stop. But that's another topic. So anyway, so he wanted her to stop, but she didn't want to. So like I said, can't tell many people from where I'm from what to do. So she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And it just became worse and everything like that. So they wound up getting a divorce after a while. But Bobby said while he wasn't using drugs, he stopped using drugs, he started drinking a lot. So he became, an alcoholic. So he started drinking a lot, guys. Then I'm putting on the overnight treatment for anti-breakage. It's stopping a little bit. It's from Creme. It stops the breakage, But like I said, I mean, it doesn't shed as much. My hair doesn't shed as much. But anyway, stop. And this stuff smells so good. So, he started drinking a lot, and it just started affecting his life, the drinking and everything started affecting his life. They started getting out of control and everything. And their relationship just went down a drain. And so, finally, they separated. He even talked about Whitney and Robin's relationship. and how him and Robin didn't get along. And how he talked about people with, talking and saying Whitney was with Robin, like she was gay and she had a girlfriend and stuff like that. Street talk too. So, but anyway, so he even talked about that. He didn't get into too much detail, but he knew that they had a relationship. And he said, really, to be honest, towards the end of her life, he wished that Robin was in her life, because he said he believed that she could have saved Whitney and Whitney wouldn't have died, or, went by the, wouldn't have went, the way she did. And then he also talked about, he also said that if it wasn't for the drugs, that they would still be together. And I believe it, because, they both, loved each other, you could tell, and they both had, so much fun together. And especially when it was doing, even the show that being Bobby, when they called that a train wreck or whatever, they were just being real. And Whitney, you could tell, loved that. She loved being real and everything. This is leave-in conditioner strength. I'll do 2 of them, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to do the spray. So you could tell that she, their relationship just became something. So anyway, he said that they would have been together or whatever. They still would have been together if it wasn't for drugs. So he talked about that. And then he went into the details of the day that he found out Whitney passed away. He was on stage, and then somebody calling me. Hold on. He was on stage, and when he got off the stage, his, the members of New Edition, they all gathered and told him what happened to Whitney that night. And he was just so distraught and everything. The only thing he was trying to do was get to his daughter, Bobby Christina. And he was just like, he just got on a plane or whatever and went out to get to her, where she was. He was in LA or California. Where she was. And so, he went to get to her, and he was talking about, how devastating it was for him to hear. He couldn't believe it. He just couldn't take that Whitney was gone. And then he said when he called his brother to go be with Bobby Christina, and that, how, until he got there or whatever. And then they wound up taking Bobby Christina to the hospital because, she was just, mentally out of it. Of course, hearing about your mom, just out of it. So he talked about that, and then he was like, so then after everything, he talked about the funeral and how they disrespected him and his kids at the funeral, telling him that him and his entourage had to sit somewhere else, and so that he just felt disrespected. So he went and kissed the casket and left Whitney's funeral. So he talked about that, and then he was like, and at that time he felt like they was keeping Bobby Christina from him. He didn't even get a chance to hold her and mourn with her about her mom's passing or whatever. And so he just felt like he was just, they were keeping her from him. And so it got worse. And after a while, he wasn't seeing her. He wasn't getting no calls. He wasn't able to contact her. It was like they were keeping him from her, which is probably even really messed up her life even more, to be honest with you. I don't know if the family was keeping her, but, with speculations that the family was keeping her from him, and his the brother the stepbrother or whatever, who was not really his brother, her brother, but, you know, her boyfriend. Then her boyfriend was keeping her from him and everything. And so he couldn't stop. And so he couldn't reach out to her. So, it was getting bad and everything. And then he talked about how they started having her do a show. And he said the show that after Whitney's passing, the Houstons did a show. And so he said he hated that show because it pulled her far away from him, even farther away from him. And it was a lot of things going around in the news saying that, you know, they wonder if the family is just doing it because they want money or whatever now, because Bobby Christina was well off. She didn't need money or whatever. So it was speculations like, why is she doing a show? And then he said he felt like the show was bad for her because it wasn't giving her a chance to mourn her mom's passing. It was just too soon to do a show. And he said he seen, you know, that she needed him. And then, as you know, doing the show, whatever, it was a mess. And she just wasn't looking herself, just went downhill. And then he also shared a video that no one's seen. That this was a personal video chat between him and Christina before she passed away, and how she was happy to be able to get ready to see him. They were starting to get close. She was telling him that she loves him, and he shared this personal video that I've never seen on social media or anything. And this was before she passed, and you know. So then he talked about that, and he talked about the last day, how he found out that something was wrong with her, whatever, when he got the call and everything. And then he was like, he found out, you know, and then he just automatically felt as though Nick was the one that, you know, killed her or whatever. So he went to her side, he put her in the hospital, you know, he took care of her and stuff like that. And they was like, you know, she wouldn't live a normal life if she was to live, because she would be like a vegetable. And he said he was prepared to deal with that. He was prepared to keep her like that and deal with that. He said, but Whitney came in his dream and was like, let my baby go, you know, just let my baby go. So he said he felt like that was the thing to do, to just go ahead and let her go and let her rest. And so he was like, that just broke his heart. It was just too much for him at that time. So he talked about Bobby Christina's death and things like that. And then he talked about Bobby Jr.'s death. He talked about how he got the call. Well, not the call, how he didn't get a call from Bobby Jr. in a couple of days or whatever. So he went to his home to see what was going on or whatever. And he said that's when he found his son. And the police said that, being the way he was cold and, you know, the way he looked and everything, that he had passed away. He had been passed away for a couple of days already. And so he was like, you know, he passed away from a drug overdose. And he was like, he was experimenting with drugs, and the drug fentanyl is what killed him. So he talked about that. He talked about his son, and you know how devastating it was for him to lose another child. And so you know, Bobby has been through so much, but you know, now they got into, you know, him and his now wife, Alicia, and they got into is it Alicia or Felicia? Guys, I think it's Alicia. So how they got into, got married and things like that, and how they became close and whatever, because he talked about how him and her, how they was always friends. And even when Bobby had doubts about, you know, getting with Whitney, marrying Whitney, when he locked himself in the bathroom, everybody heard that story the day of their wedding, how she came in there and talked him out and everything. And then he talked about how she helped him through different things in his life when he was homeless after leaving New Edition, lived in his car. She let him stay in her driveway. He slept in his car. Then she started managing him, and how she got him back on his feet. And I believe she saved him. She really saved him. And that's a blessing. That is a blessing. And she's still with him right now today. That's a blessing. She's in his life. And she is the one who keeps him stable. And he needed that in his life. Because all around, you could see Bobby was just a loving person. A loving, giving person. And so, you know, he just was giving to his family, to his friends. He was just always giving, you know. And even when him and Whitney, he talked about him and when him and Whitney got a divorce, he left everything. He left cars, he left houses. He said if he couldn't have her, or he didn't want nothing. If he couldn't have it all, he didn't want nothing. So he left his house, his cars, money, everything. He just left it. And so that's why he wound up being homeless and staying in his car, which is wild. But so now he's back on his feet, and now they're talking about how he's dealing with sobriety, to stop drinking and everything. So then they went into the episode of Every Little Step, his new TV show. So they went into that episode and how he's dealing and what he's doing with his life now, after, you know, the deaths and tragedies, what he's doing now to lift his spirits and get his spirits going. They show, you know, his children and, you know, his oldest daughter, Landon, and then his 3 other youngest kids with him and his wife, and how, you know, they're dealing with life. The first episode they aired, his oldest daughter is getting married, and, you know, they showed the wedding and, you know, them getting together and everything like that. Him helping his oldest son, Landon, with his music career, and little things that he's doing with his younger kids. So he looks happy and everything. He says he does still struggle with not drinking, even at the, was it the reception? No, I think it was a party before they got married, before his daughter got married. It was a party, and they had alcohol there. And the daughter was drinking a little bit or whatever. And then he was like, let me taste it. So she was like, no. But he talks about how every day is a struggle to not drink. But he's doing it. So kudos to him. You know, kudos to him. It is an industry that he's in is going to be very hard for him to, you know, move away from alcohol and drugs. But I've seen in the past when people, like in my life, when they stopped drinking or stopped using drugs or whatever, and then went back to drinking and using drugs, they either overdose, mess up their body or whatever, because they're going back. And then on top of that, they're going back to the same amount. They haven't drank or used drugs in a long time, right? So then they're going back to the amount that they were using before they got off of drugs. And their system is not used to that anymore. So the amount that they use and the amount that they do, it just makes them overdose and die. So, yeah, like now that he's stepping back from alcohol, and then the alcohol, you stop for a long time and then you go back into it. It's doing nothing but breaking down your system. So he needs to like stay away from that because he's older now. And his system probably could not take it because he haven't been drinking for a long time. And to start back drinking, it might just shut, you know, it's bad. So hopefully he keeps his sobriety and he do the right thing. But anyway, the show looks the show was absolutely interesting. Like I said, the biography, the show, 5 stars, no doubt. Mega 5 stars, no doubt. And guys, go check it out. It's on A&E. And like I said, stop. The first episodes and the biography aired last night. It's on A&E. And guys, right now, what I'm about to do is I'm about to put my hair in 2 braids. Because that's what I do after I wash my hair. I put it in 2 braids. And maybe you'll see it later when it dries up in the outcome. But I put it in 2 braids after I do my hair. This is what I do. I don't dry my hair. I don't like drying it at all. I don't put no heat on it. I don't dry it. Some people hair love water. You know what I mean? Feeds off of water, love water, and that's my hair. My hair loves water. So it's manageable and it acts way better with water. I love it like that. But yeah, sometimes it can get annoying, especially in the winter, you know. It still be wanting water and it be cold. But I cannot dry my hair. No, it's just, I have to just let it go. So, and I was supposed to brush it, guys. Brush. I ain't brushed the other side. I gotta go back and brush the other side. I'm supposed to brush it down. But yeah, guys, so that was the show. Go check it out. Again, it's on A&E. And go check it out and everything. And I will be doing a review on the next episode next week of Every Little Step. So guys, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and come back, because I will be talking about the show again. I will be doing a review. And it looked like it's going to be real interesting, guys. So make sure you come back. And stay tuned, because I'm sure I'm going to be doing more reality TV show reviews this week, along with some celebrity news updates. I'm still trying to see what they're going to do with this trial, with Johnny Depp's trial and Amber. So anyway, guys, make sure you come back. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to finish up my hair. Bye.